We're looking at the video now on refreshing our scale knowledge. There'll be 6 basic scales on this with 2 more at the end of the page, but we're going to first go through the pentatonic and blues scales. And the purpose over here is just to give you a basic introduction to the sounding of each scale, the tonality, the impression, the tone, mood, whatever you'd like to call it, that the sort of scale sets for us. And also just to revise the basic shapes. Obviously, to go through all the scales would be well over 50, 60 scales, especially if you add in whole tone scales, diminished scales, and. So we're looking at the most user-friendly to get you going. Next to each scale, you'll also see a timestamp on your PDF file as well. So if you want to go look at the minor blues scale, for example, look next to the timestamp next to it. And then if you fast forward or rewind the video, you will find that scale at that point in time on the video that I'm sending through to you. Okay, enough talking. We're going to start with the minor pentatonic scale. I'm sure you guys recognize the scale. It's going to sound something like this. Nice one for rock. Okay, but first of all, let's learn the scale. We don't want to go too much into jamming right now, and that's not the purpose of this. I'm going to switch to clear sound, and your scale starting at fret number 5 on the blue note. You can see the blue note on your PDF file at fret 5. The red number 5 at the bottom on the corner is your fret number, and it goes fret 5, fret 8. Now, very important when you're playing the scales, alternate your strokes. So it's downstroke, upstroke, downstroke, upstroke, downstroke, upstroke. We must make sure the notes are alternating your strokes you're picking. It's going to give you good speed. Now, anyway, let's get back to the scale. I'm going to focus more now on the fretting hand so we can learn the scale. And one more time, the minor pentatonic scale, fret 5, fret 8. Notice the pinky. Try and make sure you use the same finger notation or the finger sequence. Next string, 5, 7. Fourth string, 5 and 7 again. Third string, 5 and 7 again. Second string, 5 and 8. Notice the pinky's getting used there. And then back to 1 and 8 again. So if I take it through slow motion, it should sound like this. And make sure you can descend it as well. Next up, we're going to look at the minor blues scale. I'm going to play it through once again just so you can hear the difference. Bit of overdrive for the fun of it. It's got a nice little chromatic line there. Nice little bit of a blues sound, and ironically enough, even though it's called a minor blues scale, a lot of metal bands like using the minor blues scale because of that flattened fifth note, which gives you sort of this vibe. Sounds quite dissonant, but as a passing note, sounds quite cool. But enough of that, let's learn the minor blues scale. Overdrive off, and here we go. Starting at fret 5 again, and you'll notice that if you quickly do a visual comparison with the scale above, the minor pentatonic and the minor blues, the only difference is those extra red notes, which is the E flat note. So here we go. 5, 8, 5, 6, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 8. What's the pinky? Make sure your pinky works, please. It's 25% of your hand. I notice lots of the guys want to go and they ignore the pinky. Get that pinky working. Onto the second string, 5, 8, and then 5, 8 on the first as well. Descending the scale. Now I want to do a quick recap over there just on the picking technique one more time. I'm going to focus more on your picking hand. Make sure no matter what scale you're playing, always alternate the strokes. You can see there, up and down the whole way through, no matter where I am. Up and down, alternate the strokes the whole way through. Okay, that's the minor blues scale. Next up, the major blues scale. So again, we'll sort of give a bit of a overdriven fun because it's lacquer. Nice sounding with a major third note added. Now, I'm not going to go too much into the theory and the characteristic, what is a major third and what is a minor third and what does flat and fifth mean. That's not what this video is about. This is just about teaching you the scale shapes. If you want to know the theory behind it, drop me a WhatsApp and I'll send you a dedicated video with this, okay, explaining the theory. But for now, we need to know the basic shapes. Each one of the pentatonics and the minor blues and major blues actually have got 5 positions. We're just doing position number 1 of each. Okay, here we go. Major blues scale, and again you'll notice the pentatonic scale shape is there, and it's those red notes, the C sharp this time, that's separating it. There's my C sharp at fret 4. So now the hand has to move. So we're going to go through slowly. 5, 8, 4, 5, 7, and then 5, 7, 5, 6, 7, and then 5, 8, 5, 8. Now if you want to be fancy as well, or change the scale, another way of playing it might be something like this. This note here, that C sharp from the scale, I can also play here. So if I want a bit of a stretch, I can actually do this instead. Same scale there. So whichever one works for you is cool, and when you finally get to the bottom, and what I've done there is I've added the pinky, added the C sharp at the bottom as well. So your other way of playing it through, that's still the same. And you open up the hand to get the pinky at fret number 9, which isn't shown on the scale, but you can include that. So one last time, the scale as it is in the diagram. You've seen the alternative options for it. Here we go. There's your 4. You move back. There's the major third again for the chromatic, and descend it again. And the major blues scale. Okay, we finished with that now. We're now going to go to the right hand column where it says your diatonic minor scale types. Now the reason I'm starting with the minor scales, not to the major, is because I noticed that most of the rock songs, all the examples I've seen, generally speaking, work around the minor pentatonic scale because it works so cool for rock, that whole. And then you put variations. Go diatonic. So all these scales I'm busy jamming with actually are on this page you're looking at on the PDF file. We're now going to start the natural minor scale. Remember, it's time stamped, so if you're looking to find this part of the video, just look where it's written underneath next to the diagram. And natural minor starts at fret 5 as well. Observe the note differences. Okay, you'll notice that there are slightly different in the notes, but enough on that. Let's go. Fret 5, 7, 8. Watch the pinky. 5, 7, 8 again. 5, 7. Move back, because we have to move back for the 4th fret. Fingers 1, 2, 4. Please pay attention to the finger numbers, quite important. Move it back again. And return it. There's the jump for the 4th. And now back into position. So I'm not suggesting you write on your fingers with the numbers 1, 2, 3 and 4, but make sure that your fingers 1, 2 and 3 and 4 line up the same as mine. It's just a nice way to actually make the scale work efficiently for you. That was your natural minor. Next up, the harmonic minor scale. Now this is quite a cool scale because it's got almost like a sort of an Eastern sort of vibe to it, if you put a little distortion to it. Very different sound today. That's your harmonic minor scale. Now, let me teach you the scale first of all, because that's what this video is for. You're going to start at fret number 5 again. And your first 6 notes are the same as the natural minor. But when you get to note number 7, and it does say there that if we raise the 7th note of the natural minor scale, we get the harmonic minor. There's the natural 7th note. We're going to raise him. So we're sharpening it. And there you can hear that tonality, that sound from the harmonic minor. 6 and 7 over there. Then we continue, and instead of playing this note now, which would be the octave of the 7th note, we're now going to lose him, take him there, which is quite a stretch, or we can put him here. And that's what we've done on the diagram. And running back. And that's your harmonic minor scale. Okay, now this one's not that commonly used for sort of most blues or rock and that. You get it a lot in sort of the neoclassical metal. A lot of the metal bands, they want to get like a different sort of classical sort of vibe to their playing. Quite popular there. But for most of the blues and rock and pop players, you're probably going to be more the pentatonic side of the page. Next up, the melodic minor. Now this is an interesting one because it goes up and it goes there. Very different sound, but when it comes down, that's descending, you change it. So if I were to call out the names of the notes, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C. When I descend it, all those F sharps and G sharps are gone. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, B, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. So trying to think of notes and call everything out and read the page. Tongue gets a bit tired, but you got the picture. So melodic minor, very interesting scale. It ascends with the two raised notes, but it descends like the natural minor. So this one for writing is very, very important. It's nice for different chords, like chord construction, putting chords that wouldn't normally expect to find in the key of C, like a D chord, because there's the F sharp, there's my F sharp. So it's nice from that side and compositional, but for improvising, quite a tricky scale to use. So nice for composing solos, not for improvising. Wouldn't be my personal go-to scale, but when it's used properly, I've heard some guys do wonderful work with it. And then lastly, at the very bottom, you've got the major pentatonic scale, which now starts at fret 8. Now, the major pentatonic scale is also known as the second position of the minor pentatonic. Now, I will later do a dedicated video on the different positions of the pentatonic scales and the different positions of the modes and. This is just to give you a basic introduction and overview of the basic scales. Okay, so if you know these scales, you've got a good starting ground. Personally, I'd suggest you start with the pentatonics, major blues, minor blues, and then also your natural minor, and then later expand to harmonic and melodic minor. That's just my opinion. Okay, and here we go. Major pentatonic, fret 8. Notice I'm starting on my middle finger. It's going to go like this: 8, 10, next string, 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, 9, and then I move up to go to 8, 10, 8, 10. So one more time slowly. And descending. Pinky again. And then we finish off with the C major scale, which we don't normally use that often in rock. They normally like the minor vibe. It tends to sort of work better for rock and blues. But this is still a very important scale, especially for chord construction and theory in it later. This is going to be your do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And it's going to go something like that. So let's do it slow motion. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now theoretically I shouldn't go past C, but that note's in the scale. So it's nice to know that I can use the other notes as well, because it lets me have more freedom on the guitar neck. So I'll never play my scales from octave to octave, always go past the octave. It's more relevant for my playing, and it's relevant for your playing too. And I hope this works. Hope you're going to get your basic scales under wraps. Any questions, you have my number. Let me know. And if you want some exercises to get fluent with your scales as well, things like this, let me know and I'll happily send them through. Have an awesome week. Take care. Know your scales. Thank you.